the Bottom Line Podcast. I'm Jimmy Finizzi alongside Neil Villapiano. We hope you're doing well. As always, thank you guys so much for taking some time out of your day to listen to us. We really do appreciate it. Before we get started, as always, questions, opinions, Twitter at BottomLine WMCX, at the NVP Show, hashtag BottomLine, and also on Instagram at BottomLine WMCX, hashtag BottomLine. Voice message, Anchor, the app, or anchor.fm. And if you're watching on YouTube, leave a like and a comment down below. Helps out tremendously. And please make sure you subscribe, as well as on Apple, Google, and Spotify, or wherever you listen to podcasts. Just include my first name, Jimmy, when searching for this podcast. Neil, before we even get into the football talk today, because at the time of this recording, September 3rd, 2020, we are 1 week away from football beginning. I am amped, although it is going to be...
Are we really 1 week away?
Yep, 1 week. What next week is the first matchup of the season? Thursday Night Football, baby. Got to get ramped up. But
so does that mean the Texans are going to have another 24-point lead and somehow blow it?
Only time will tell.
What I find really
only the football gods will tell that one. What
I find to be the most interesting thing going into the season, other than obviously how the NFL will, react to COVID-19 or if and when players get the Rona, because it's more likely it's going to happen, is how the teams come out early on, because there was no preseason games. It's really just been training camp practice for the last month. And obviously every team had like an inter squad scrimmage, but that it doesn't really compare to when you're playing against a completely different opponent. But what's good for, I guess I would say, both of the teams that we're really covering today, is that they're giving a lot of young players many opportunities to make this team. So a lot of guys that maybe we don't know about right now could step into the forefront and really, contribute to their teams going into this 2020 season. So it's a fascinating one. I don't think I'm ready for football in the sense of, there were no preseason games to get me like, oh yeah, here's football. Like, no, it's just going to jump right into the first game. And it'll be interesting. Looking forward to it to an extent, and we'll see how this all goes.
Yep, absolutely. But before we talk about that, a couple of personal notes. And by the way, first of all, we should mention, rest in peace, Tom Seaver. I mean,
God,
my goodness, 2020 continues to be absolutely terrible. Tom Seaver, in case you missed it, unfortunately, he passed away at the young age of 75 due to complications of Lewy body dementia, which I know he's been having for a while.
He's had dementia for about 3 or 4 years now. So he's really, 4 years. Yeah, it's been deteriorating, no doubt.
Yeah, so he had that, and unfortunately, he did have, he did have complications of COVID. So we just want to send.
And also Alzheimer's.
Yeah. So
he also had Alzheimer's. So he died of 3 different things, basically.
Yeah, he did.
Is what we're being told. So it just, what I found to be so ironic yesterday about it was that Tom Seaver was part of the 69 Miracle Mets team. And the Mets played the Baltimore Orioles yesterday and won.
Yes.
So I found that to be very, very ironic.
Didn't the Mets win like 9-2 the other night?
Yeah. But obviously that does nothing. That doesn't really have anything to do with it. It's more of just.
Oh no, yeah.
That, but Tom Terrific, the franchise. Whatever you want to call him.
Probably the greatest Met of all time. If you really look at it.
Without a doubt. I think you look at what he was able to do in his time with the Mets, albeit it didn't end the way I'm sure Mets fans and Tom Seaver would have liked. It's a shame that, diseases like, dementia and, Alzheimer's and, even COVID-19, seem to take away the best type of people. And, Tom Seaver was always known as a really great guy, a great person, tremendous pitcher, one of the greatest pitchers of his era, and certainly one of the greatest pitchers of all time. Absolutely. And, it's just it's a sad day in baseball. It's a sad day in sports. It's just, I mean, I don't really have anything else to say on the matter, but.
Yeah, no, I just wanted to bring that up quick, because we definitely send our thoughts and prayers to the Seaver family. Mm-hmm. We can't imagine what they're going through. I mean, we knew he wasn't doing well for a while, but it still hurts. It still hurts because you hate to lose somebody that iconic who meant so much to the Mets and the city of New York. So our thoughts and prayers go out to Tom Seaver and his family and his friends as well. So let's pick it back up here. A couple of personal notes really, really quick. I promise we'll get to the football talk. A couple of personal notes. First of all, happy birthday wishes go out to my dad, Jim Finizzi, 53 years young today. So happy.
Oh, is that where you got your name from? Okay, now I know. No, I never knew what your dad's first name was.
Actually, it was from my grandpa, my dad's side of the family. So there's
What's your
him,
grandpa's name?
Jimmy.
Oh, Jesus.
There's there's three of us.
Your family stays consistent. That there's no doubt about that. So
yeah. So there's my grandpa, there's my dad, and then there's me. I'm known as Jimmy Finizzi the third in the family.
So when you have a kid, are we going with Jim next? Is it just going to go Jimmy, Jim, like back and?
Hey, why not? Anything to keep the train going. You know what I mean?
Right.
You know,
keep the tradition going.
In all seriousness, though, happy birthday to my dad.
Yes,
Thank you for teaching me how to be a man. That's pretty much what I have to say about that. So happy
birthday.
birthday.
Yeah, thank you for bringing this pain in the ass into my life.
How dare you? Now, I'm only kidding. And real quick here, 5 episodes away from 200. 5. This is episode 195. Can you actually believe it? Within the next
I'd love to see it.
Within the next 2-3 weeks, we will be at 200 episodes. So Neil and I are still trying to work out details on the special thing we're going to do. But stay tuned for announcements on Twitter and Instagram for that. So let's finally get into football. And Neil, I have a trivia question for you.
Well, I have more news, and I'm going to share.
You have more news.
I know you said you want to talk about next week, but I'm not waiting. So.
Okay.
About an hour ago, Adrian Wojnarowski tweeted out and reported that the Brooklyn Nets have hired Steve Nash.
Yes.
23rd head coach in Brooklyn Nets and New Jersey Nets history. And I got to tell you, it was very, very surprising because there was nothing leading up to today that had any inkling that Steve Nash was a candidate from what Bleacher Report said. And also, I think Wojnarowski said it as well, that the Nets were very high on Steve Nash. They were trying to convince him to become a coach, and Steve Nash said himself in a statement from the Nets that this was something that he wanted to do. He always wanted to be a coach. He was a consultant for the Golden State Warriors, working with Kevin Durant one-on-one for a couple years. So that's obviously, there's connection there. It's a surprise move considering the other candidates that were available, including Jacques Vaughn, who I had, said before, even on this podcast, I believe that I felt that Jacques Vaughn was the right guy. But Jacques Vaughn actually is staying on as the head assistant, and I think he also is going to be the highest paid assistant in the NBA. So in a funny way, I said the Nets didn't really hire Steve Nash. They kind of hired Jacques Vaughn in a way. Because I think Jacques Vaughn might be getting paid more than Steve Nash.
I think you're right.
Wrong, but usually we don't
know the terms.
No,
it's like a 4-year deal. That's all I.
Yeah, Steve Nash signed a 4-year deal, which again the length is somewhat of a concern because it kind of says, wow, the Nets maybe really feel like that. They could be consistent for a good amount of time. I mean, Steve Kerr, when he became the head coach of Golden State prior to their whole run, he signed a 5-year deal with the Warriors. I also think Derek Fisher signed a 5-year deal with the Knicks, and that didn't go well. So obviously we have experience on both sides with a guy who's a first-year head coach. I got to tell you, Jimmy, it'll be very weird the first Nets game of next season, seeing Steve Nash walking up and down, the sideline there. As the head coach of the Brooklyn Nets. But obviously KD and Kyrie signed off on this. There's no way that they didn't because the league is such a player-driven league now that any coach that was going to be hired needed to be approved by KD and Kyrie. And Steve Nash, I hope that he's the right man for the job. I'm cautiously optimistic, somewhat pessimistic, knowing how Nets moves tend to go. The last time the Nets hired a first-year head coach, Jason Kidd, didn't really work out. Lasted only a year. So let's see what happens. But that was certainly a surprise more than anything else. And a lot of people, if you go on Twitter or even just go on ESPN, you can see people were shocked more than anything. But a lot of people say that he deserves an opportunity. Very bright man, one of the nicest people in the NBA, a Hall of Famer, a guy who understands the game. And if he can help elevate KD and Kyrie to another level with the team that they bring along, which we don't really know exactly what the roster will look like going into next season, it's going to be interesting. So let's see how this goes. But yeah, Steve Nash is now the 23rd head coach of the Brooklyn Nets, and he will have a virtual press conference next Wednesday, September 9th, on all on all Brooklyn Net channels. But yeah, Steve Nash is the next head coach of the Brooklyn Nets, and I thought I'd share that. That was made official about an hour and change ago. So.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that was definitely a surprise. Definitely one of those Woj bombs you don't expect, but hey.
Well, no, we never expect a Woj bomb.
Do you expect anything different from Woj? No, you don't.
No, that was his 10 o'clock in the morning, just woke up bomb. I mean, when I woke up, I didn't think I was gonna see that, but I thought, when I saw the Nets hired Steve Nash, I didn't even read the head coach part. I thought, maybe they're hiring him as an assistant or like a player development guy. That's why and then it's a head coach, so I'm like, okay, is this a joke?
No,
Woj just saying it, but I'm like,
it's not a joke.
I had to confirm it that it was Woj that tweeted it out, because sometimes people create like fake Adrian Wojnarowski accounts, and somebody might do it, but no, it's official, and this is going to be interesting.
Oh yeah,
really going to be interesting.
Definitely going to be interesting, but hopefully it plays out for your Brooklyn Nets. So now we can finally get into NFL football. And Neil, I have a Jets trivia question for you ready to go. If you're ready,
bring it on.
All right. So the one you gave me, the one you gave me last episode was really good. And again, I will never know how I got that right, but I digress. But anyway,
you're a baseball guy, so I assume that you would know it.
Yeah, I guess so. But here's your trivia question. And again, it's New York Jets related.
Oh, shoot.
Sorry. There is only...
You suck.
This Jets wide receiver was the first NFL player to reach 10,000 receiving yards.
10,000.
Who was that player?
I gotta repeat the question out loud just so I understand. So, did he reach 10,000 yards in Jets history or in NFL history? Was he the first player to reach 10,000 yards in Jets history or NFL history?
I believe it is, let me look here, in football history.
Football history. Thank you. 10,000 yards, you said.
Yes.
Well, there's a couple really good ones. Maybe some that didn't have a long tenured time with the Jets, I would imagine. And nobody has a long tenure with the Jets, so,
Yeah.
This is not anybody recent, obviously.
It's nobody recent, no.
I'd probably have to go back to like the 60s, right? Yeah.
Somewhere around there, yes.
Somewhere around there? All
Somewhere around there.
How many guesses do I get? Do I get one? One? How many guesses do I get?
Since you gave me 3, I'll give you 3 guesses. Just to make it fair.
It's a really good question.
Thank you.
First receiver to reach 10,000 yards. Well, there is an obvious choice, and maybe it is the right answer, but I could be wrong. It's probably somebody that I don't know if maybe most NFL fans would know. Maybe if you're a big historian, I guess my guess would be Don Maynard.
Didn't even need 3 guesses. You are correct. It is indeed Don Maynard. But here's the thing with Don Maynard. He never led the league in receiving any one season.
Well,
but at the time of his retirement, and he played in the AFL at the time. Don't forget, the New York Jets were originally the New York Titans back in the 50s and 60s when they first formed. So Don Maynard was there when the Titans were there. So at the time of his retirement, he had 633 career catches for 11,834 yards, which were both pro records at the time. So yes, the answer is indeed Don Maynard. Well done.
You know what's surprising about that? What's so surprising is that, obviously it was going to be a Jet-related question, but if you asked in general, like that question, if you said who was the first player in NFL, who was the first receiver in NFL history, I probably would have gone with Lance Allworth, who played for the San Diego Chargers.
That would have been a good guess.
Because I think it's safe to say, and this is my opinion, and obviously I wasn't alive when the AFL existed, but Lance Allworth was probably the best receiver in AFL history, considering how good he was. I mean, you look at the fact that, he helped, him with the combination of him and John Hadle, they had a tremendous attacking offense with Sid Gilman as their head coach. I mean, they were putting up offensive numbers through the roof that took another 20 years or so before they started getting broken. But yeah, I would have probably gone with Lance Allworth if it was a general question. But yeah, I mean, it doesn't surprise me that much that Don Maynard did it because, let's face it, for most of his career, not all of it, but most of it, he had Joe Namath as his quarterback.
Yep.
Joe Namath liked to throw the football and throw it deep. Yep. Who was his number one guy? Don Maynard. So it just, made sense. I mean, the year before they won the Super Bowl, Joe Namath was the first quarterback in NFL history to throw for over 4,000 yards.
Yes.
I almost guarantee you that more than 2,000 of those were to Don Maynard. I'm almost certain of that.
Yep.
So it doesn't surprise me, but I'm glad I got that. And I didn't even need 3 guesses, so yay me.
Yep. We're both perfect this week with trivia. So
well, you need how many guesses?
First.
How many guesses did you use? You used you got on your second guess, I think.
Yeah. It was my second guess.
Because you went with Al Leiter first.
Yes. But again, never did I think I would get your trivia question right. But hey, we're both perfect this week with trivia. What do we got to complain about? But
absolutely nothing.
Anyway, absolutely nothing is.
Well, we can complain about the teams that we're about to talk about. Sure.
Well, I don't want to say complain. Well, maybe, but anyway.
What do you mean maybe?
Let's start with the Jets first, because.
Oh, you want to start with the Jets? Jeez, it's so bad you just want to get them out the way.
Bad. I actually have a little game that we're gonna play a little later on. I will admit. I
don't know anything about this, guys. This was not told to me before we started recording today.
Now, this game is a bit inspired from the Michael Kay show, so a little bit of a tease. Right there. It's going to be
one of these things where, you ask me what player I think is going to play well this week.
No, not that game.
I'll go with Sid Luckman.
Oh my God.
I'll go with Sid Luckman. I think he'll play this week.
Don Maynard. Let's go with Don. But
yeah, anyway. Right. I hope that Robbie Anderson doesn't play. Oh wait, he's not on the Jets anymore.
No, he's not, and neither is Quincy Enunwa. But we'll get to that in a little bit.
Well,
but the Jets. You look at their current roster right now. Obviously. Sam Darnold's going to look to have a bounce-back year. Le'Veon Bell as well, although Adam Gase does not like him all that much. You have Joe Flacco as a backup quarterback, which actually I think is actually a really good sign because you have veteran leadership. He can help Sam Darnold away. Hey, the guy's a Super Bowl champion, okay? So he knows what it takes to win.
No, you're on drugs for saying that.
Come on, really?
Dude,
really?
Joe Flacco hasn't been good in 4 years.
The dude was
benched. He got benched in a playoff game for Lamar Jackson, okay?
Listen.
He went to Denver and was so mids.
I understand he hasn't been the same quarterback. I understand that. But I still think that he can help Darnold in a way, so that at least Sam Darnold can have a bounce-back season.
Sam Darnold needs more than Joe Flacco or Jesus to help him on this team.
That I agree with, because let's face it, David
Fales is a better backup quarterback than Joe Flacco, in my opinion.
That's another argument for another day.
No, we can have that argument now.
I'm not getting into that now. Let's face it, though. Sam Darnold pretty much has nobody to throw the ball to. I mean, you lost Robbie Anderson, who was his best target. You don't have Quincy Enunwa. Let's face it, the guy couldn't stay healthy. I mean, Brashad Perriman's no scrub. I think he can play.
You still have Jamison Crowder.
Well, yeah.
Well, you can throw the football to him.
Yeah, I guess.
Chris Herndon, who I think actually has a chance to have a career year, because I think he'll be much more involved in the offense.
You also have Dante Moncrief, who I think can play as well.
His fifth team in 3 years, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes.
Oh, and also they have 7-Eleven. New Jersey man Chris Hogan.
Ah, yes. Welcome home,
So-
Chris.
So I don't know. I swear, if they use him as anything but a slot receiver, it's the Jets just ruining everything. He's a slot receiver. Chris
Well,
Hogan is a slot receiver.
if they can ruin Tim Tebow's career, anything's possible.
The Jets didn't ruin Tim Tebow's career. His career was ruined before he got to New York.
Come on.
It's true. It's true.
Whatever.
It's true.
But the thing is here, they drafted Mekhi Becton, who adds a little bit of extra protection to Sam Darnold, which
That's
was
a thick boy right there.
yeah, he's
That's a
definitely
big
a
boy.
big boy. And hey, the dude can play. So he'll definitely add a lot of protection for Sam. And that I thought that was a good draft pick.
I
They
think
also drafted Denzel Mims as well, who I think could actually be a breakout wide receiver. Not this
that
year,
was one of the
but maybe
steals.
in a couple of years to come. Denzel Mims could be dangerous.
I think Mekhi Becton he may have been at Louisville while Lamar Jackson was there. I could be wrong. And Denzel Mims was actually considered to be one of the steals in the later rounds.
Yes.
And the fact that the Jets were able to get him was a very good job, because I know the Eagles really wanted them to get Mims, and I think they ended up taking who they end up taking in that round. Oh, they took the dude from Oklahoma.
Oh, what the heck was his
They
name?
took Jalen Hurts. Yeah,
Jalen Hurts.
took Jalen Hurts and over Denzel Mims, and the Jets got Mims, which is good because the Jets' biggest need going into this draft
was wide receiver.
was wide receiver and offensive lineman.
Right, yes.
Because we a lot of people want to talk about the Giants' offensive line has always needed work. The Jets' offensive line at times has been just as bad.
Yeah.
So they need help too.
That's true.
So
That is true. And then you have Frank Gore, who they signed to a 1-year deal as well. Now, I love
Frank Gore.
Frank Gore.
I met Frank Gore.
Unfortunately, I actually forgot you met him. He's a nice guy.
Yeah, he's a nice guy, and yeah,
Good.
he's not as tall as I thought he was. I mean, I know he's not that tall in general, but like I was taller than him, and it was just kind of interesting. Yeah, he's really cool.
Oh my goodness! But
One of the greatest running backs of all time.
I think Frank Gore has 1 to 2 productive years left in his career. He is getting up there in age. What is he like 37 years old now?
He, at the moment of this recording, is 37. He just turned 37 back in May, so he is 37 years of age.
Hey, he's third in rushing yards, so hey, there's no doubt that this guy is going to waltz into the Hall of Fame when his career is over.
He's probably going to end up being the second. He's going to end up, I mean, I'd have to look at the list because I don't have it on me, but I'm pretty sure he can get to second place on the all-time rushing list. And it's just one of those like things that like you could throw that out as a trivia question, and I feel like most people would say like, "Oh, it's Frank Gore," because I remember because you know I'm a big Madden guy, not of the last couple of years because I think Madden has become a joke. But like I remember back like Madden 11 or Madden 12 when Frank Gore was on the 49ers, like he was like one of those like unstoppable cheat code like players. You just couldn't like tackle him because he was just so good. And I've always, you got to give Frank Gore credit for he plays a position that usually players don't last very long in the NFL and don't have a long career. This man has had a very, very long career going all the way back to 2005, and he is still kicking it. So I'm mad the Bills didn't keep him. They should have kept him.
They really should have.
They should have. And remember, Frank Gore is a 3rd-round pick, ladies and gentlemen. This was not like he wasn't projected to be this guy that would be this like consistent.
Oh yeah.
But he did. Good on him.
Absolutely.
Seriously, good on him.
But
where did he go to college? He went to the U. Okay, that makes sense.
To me, offense is a concern, but my main concern with the Jets is their defense, especially the secondary. Because let's face it, the secondary has been decimated for the past couple of years. I mean, C.J. Mosley cannot stay healthy to save his life.
Jamal Adams, anybody?
Yeah, not to mention you lost Jamal Adams. You're probably your best player. So what good is that going to do you?
I would disagree. With you about the defense because I believe in Greg Williams' system. I think Greg Williams, what he does better than most is that he takes the players that he has and makes them better. You look at the Jets defense throughout the majority of last year, they were just as good as most other defenses. They really weren't that poor. And yeah, obviously they did have Jamal Adams.
They actually had Jamal Adams last year.
Exactly.
They don't have him this year. So how's that going to affect their play?
Well, I think that if you really want to compare like which side of the football is going to have the most problems, it's probably going to be the offense, because Adam Gase was brought in to be this offensive guru, quarterback whisperer, whatever the hell you want to
And it hasn't really
call it.
worked
He had a lot more talent last year than he did this year, and the Jets did not do well in the first half of the year. Now, obviously, second half of the year they played well and they ended up winning 7 games. I want Jets fans to understand: don't buy into the fact that the Jets won 7 games. Don't look at that as, oh, the team is improving. The team played a lot of very mediocre teams in the second half of the year. Also,
Right.
in the second half of the year, they nearly lost their second game to the Miami Dolphins, and they lost to the winless Cincinnati Bengals. I think the Jets might be the first team in NFL history to lose to 2 winless teams in the same year. So Adam Gase is an incompetent head coach, and the Jets are not going to do very much and have much success as long as Adam Gase remains the head coach of this football team. I think that Greg Williams should have been the head coach. I know people are skeptical because he was part of, Bounty Gate and all that, and I understand that. But, you just got to – I think he's changed in many regards, and you saw what he did when he took over in Cleveland as an interim basis. He did very well, and I thought it was unfair that the Browns were so keen to let him go, or to get rid of him, so to speak, after what he was able to do with very little talent and very little hope whatsoever. But that's just my opinion on it. I thought Mike McCarthy should have been hired by the Jets last year. I thought the Jets should hire many people, okay? Every year they screw it up.
Same old Jets every year.
The Jets are going to jet, just enough to succumb. That's really just
like the Mets are going to Met, the Jets are going to jet. So,
well, I don't personally think the Jets defense is going to be that much of an issue. And actually, you were talking about the secondary and you were talking about your concern. Well, I think the Jets may have found somebody that could be a Swiss Army knife, a guy that can play all over the field and really be a game changer. And that is Ashton Davis, the rookie out of I think he went to Wake Forest. I think
you're right. Yeah,
I think he went to Wake Forest, and here's the thing. By the way, in case anybody doesn't know who Ashton Davis is, he was the guy a couple weeks ago that did the backflip during practice while catching football. That's him. He went to California, Berkeley. By the way, he's 6'1". He's 202 pounds. Obviously, not the biggest safety, but
by the way, Neil, sorry to cut you off, my man, but he actually went to he actually went to college in California. He's from
I did say that. I said he went to California, Berkeley.
Oh, okay, yes.
I did confirm that.
I must have not heard you. I apologize, but
I did confirm that. Ashton Davis, I have heard a lot of really good things about in camp from the Jets.
He was picked in the 3rd round, by the way.
He was a 3rd-round pick, and I've heard a lot of good things about him from reporting coming from Jets camp, that this guy has already become somewhat of a leader of the defense. And that's really important, especially if you have a young rookie like that already making big-time plays, being consistent, buying into the system that he's there. So I actually want to keep my eye on Ashton Davis, number 32 on the Jets this season. I'm really, really interested to see how he plays going into this year. The biggest thing I have for the Jets offense is simply this. It's not about can Sam Darnold bounce back. I think Sam Darnold is more than capable of doing so if he has time in the pocket. Because honestly, I think Sam Darnold is one of those quarterbacks that could possibly make players around him better if he's given the right opportunity to do so. Right. The biggest question I have, no doubt, is what do the Jets do with Le'Veon Bell? I don't really know, because clearly last year, and it was made public by everybody,
Adam Gase does not like Le'Veon Bell.
Doesn't like is a soft way of saying no. He hates Le'Veon Bell.
He didn't even want him on the team.
Well, the sad part is that Adam Gase was brought in after the Jets got Le'Veon Bell. Mike Maccagnan, who was the former general manager of this team, wanted Le'Veon Bell. The Johnsons, who don't want to spend money at all, were reluctant to do so. I'm sure Adam Gase, in his interview with the Jets, said that he wanted to find a way to get rid of Le'Veon Bell. But now they can't. And Le'Veon Bell went on social media, on Twitter, and voiced his frustration. And I think he's starting to understand, you know what? The Jets don't want him here. They don't want him. They want him gone, and they're hoping to maybe find a way to get rid of him. And that's a very sad way of saying it, but it's true in my opinion.
That's unfair to him. I think he's still one of the best running backs in the game. If you keep him on the team and you give Sam Darnold a couple more weapons, their offense could be actually lethal.
I want to say quickly also on a side note that the Seahawks have just re-signed Josh Gordon, by the way.
Oh, wow.
Just now. I literally just got it 2 seconds ago. So
wow.
Thank goodness, because I really want Josh Gordon to succeed. I'm really pulling for him. I think he really is trying to recover from, I think it was, what was it, drugs?
I think it was substance abuse, but I'm not 100%.
I also did hear that he sold his Super Bowl ring because well, he said, he didn't, obviously he didn't play, so he felt he didn't deserve it. So he gave it away.
Okay.
So he gave it away. But, I respect that. It's like he didn't, he doesn't feel like he earned it. But anyway, that's besides the point. Going back to Le'Veon Bell. Le'Veon Bell is actually one of the more healthier running backs the last couple of years. Because remember, he took a year off from playing and allowed his body to recover. Le'Veon Bell barely got the football last year, whether it was actually giving him the football, running it, or throwing it to him. Clearly, Adam Gase doesn't want Le'Veon Bell on this team. So Adam Gase has two choices. Either you swallow your pride and you use the talent that you have in the backfield, or you trade him. And the Jets usually trade these guys for pennies on the dollar anyway. So you could probably trade him to like the Dolphins for like a second and a third. You know what I'm saying? Like you could do something like that. But if the Jets are trying to convince everybody that they want Le'Veon Bell on this team, they better start acting like it. They better start giving him the damn football. But they won't, because this is the Jets. They don't pay anybody. They don't want Le'Veon Bell on this team, and they're not going to trade him, so they're just going to make his life miserable to the point where they'll have the same situation that they have with Jamal Adams. What really angers me is that Jets fans want to call Jamal Adams a clown. They want to call him a clown. You guys are so – all right, I don't want to say anything offensive. The word I want to use is you guys just clearly have not watched the Jets for the last 20 years.
They don't understand how the business works.
No, it's not even a business. It's how the Jets operate. The Jets don't pay anybody. The Jets have never been big spenders. They don't pay anybody. So Jamal Adams he has 2 years left on his contract right now, but he wants to be paid. He wants to be the highest paid safety. Does he deserve it? To an extent, yes, he does. That's just me. But the Jets don't want to pay him. So what did they do? They traded him. And then, what Jamal Adams saw that nobody else is going to admit is that Jamal Adams was like, you know what? It really wasn't about the money. I just don't want to play for this team. This team is not going anywhere. This team is not getting any better. We're not anywhere close to being.
And now watch him go kill it in Seattle.
He'll do just fine. He'll do just fine in Seattle. He'll help create possibly the start of Legion of Boom Part 2. I mean, if you build your secondary around Jamal Adams, you could create Legion of Boom Part 2. I mean, you really could. You honestly could. And everybody wants to say, oh, good, we don't need that clown on this team. Bro, in many regards, Jets fans are clowns because if they don't understand how the Jets have done this year in and year out, then here's what you do. You go buy my book on Amazon, JETS, Pain, 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 and you learn about it that way. So if you really want to learn, go buy my book and read it. Because once you read it, right, it's just shameless. I don't care. If you want to understand it, if you read the book, you'll understand. You know what? The Jets do a lot of things that just don't make sense, and they just are consistent about it. Yeah, because it's how they operate.
Yep.
The Johnsons don't care. They don't care about winning. They care about the bottom line. And people want to say, oh, you can make more money if you win. Yeah, you could, but it also would cost you a lot more. It's better to spend very little and make more back. I mean, that's really just how the Jets operate. The Jets are treating this like every other owner does. So relax, guys. Jamal Adams didn't want to be on this team because he knew what the reality was. Okay? Le'Veon Bell knows what the reality is. Whether he wants to stay or not, he knows the reality. So he has a choice. He can either just ignore it, which it seems like that's what he's doing, and just play football, or, demand a trade, which I'm sure the Jets would love. I'm sure the Jets would love for Le'Veon Bell to go to the front office and say, I want out of here. And they'll trade him. They'll trade him for a second and third. People will, there'll be some people that'll say, good, we don't need that crybaby on this team. He's overrated anyway. And then there'll be some Jets fans that'll be like, wow, we really just trade everything. Yeah, you do. Because guess what? This team is worse than last year, and they went 7-9.
Ugh.
7-9. The best case scenario for the Jets is that they win like 8 games this year. Worst case, they're going to go 3-13. Because if you look at it, let's go through their schedule, Jimmy, shall we? Let's go through the schedule.
I was actually just going to
let's
bring
go through
that
the
up to you.
schedule.
That was actually going to lead me into that little game I wanted to play with you, inspired by the K Show. So what they do sometimes is excuse me, win loss. So we're going to go through the schedule, and we're both going to say whether they'll win or lose. So let's do this. Week 1, September 13th at Buffalo.
Loss.
I agree with you there. Week 2, home opener versus 49ers.
Loss.
I agree with you there.
Just keep going. You're not gonna enjoy this with me.
Oh my God. Week 3,
Loss.
September 27th at Colts.
Loss.
I think I'm actually going to give them a win there.
Oh my God.
As surprising as that sounds.
So you think the offense of the Jets is better than the Colts, and the Colts have old-ass Phillip Rivers? Come on, bro.
Hold on. Did I say their offense was better than the Colts? No. The Colts' offense is better. But for some reason, my gut is telling me that the Jets are going to find a way, somehow, some way, to pull it out. So as crazy as it sounds.
Just watch DeForest Buckner sack Sam Darnold about 6 times. Just watch what happens.
So I might be crazy, but I am giving them a win against the Colts. Week 4, October 1st versus Broncos.
Win.
I agree with you there. Week 5, October 11th versus Cardinals.
Loss.
Win for me. I don't think the Cardinals are.
But you clearly don't watch the Jets.
Oh, I do.
Because do you know what the Jets stands for? No, and it's not just in the season. It's just enough to succumb. The Jets always find a way in games like that where you think, oh, they should win it. They're better than the Jets. No, they're not, because they have a competent coaching, very little talent, and they're just going to find a way to screw it up. So let's keep going.
All right, so far we have them losing to the Bills, losing to the Niners. You have them losing to the Colts. I have them winning against the Colts. We both have them winning.
So far, I have 1-4. I have 1-4 at this moment.
And I have one more win.
I'm having so much fun doing this.
And I'm picking them to win against the Cardinals. Week 6, October 18th at Chargers.
Well, it depends, because if Tyrod Taylor's playing, then I would say win. If Justin Herbert is playing, I would say loss. So in this regard, they're at the Chargers, loss.
I would happen to agree for right now, because again, we don't know who the quarterback's going to be.
Because Tyrod Taylor was announced as a starting quarterback for Week 1 yesterday.
Right. Yes.
And Tyrod Taylor's not a bad quarterback. He's a middle of the pack, solid backup guy. And look, the Chargers are they're gonna develop slowly with Justin Herbert, but maybe by that week, 5 weeks into it, they might make a change. You never know. They made a change with Tyrod. They made a change when Tyrod Taylor was quarterback in Cleveland. I think the 2nd or 3rd week.
Right.
And then it was freaking Baker Mayfield's turn. Anyway, keep going.
Anyway, so far, Neil, you have the Jets at what?
1-5.
1-5. I have them at.
You can't tell me that's not a very good possibility. You can't.
No, it is a possibility. It is. So far, I have them at 3-2. So week 6 at Chargers, we both have them losing. Week 7 at home, October 25th versus Bills. Loss. I agree with you there. I think you could pencil this down as an automatic loss.
And not only a loss, they're not going to get blown out in this game. They're not going to get blown out against the Chiefs, but they'll lose.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. There is no way you're going to Arrowhead and beating the Chiefs.
Another L.
I'm sorry.
I feel like I'm what's his name? The guy on the Jets post game who gives out grades. Oh, I feel like I'm Ray Lucas giving the Jets for every game. I'm having no fun doing this, by the way. So, are we doing this with the Giants too?
Yes, we will be.
Hey, that's going to be even more fun.
Week 9, November 9th versus Patriots.
Absolute loss.
I agree with you.
Dude, Belichick could have like high school kids on his team, and they would still the Jets.
That's true. Week 10, November 15th at Dolphins.
Loss. Yep.
Loss? Really?
It doesn't matter if they have Tua or Fitzpatrick back there, which, by the way, on a side note and on a sad note, I want to send my condolences to Ryan Fitzpatrick. His mom passed away, I think, last week.
Oh, my God.
So he's obviously dealing with that, and that is always unfortunate. To lose one of your parents is one of the worst losses you could have in your life. So I don't know how she died. I don't think it was told. I do know from a football standpoint that I think Tua actually is going to start week 1 because Brian Flores says he doesn't know when Fitzpatrick is going to return.
Right.
But, my condolences to Fitzpatrick. But, the Jets are going to lose.
Yeah, no. Well, first of all, absolutely, my thoughts and prayers go out to Ryan Fitzpatrick. That's absolutely devastating. I can't imagine going through the pain of that. But I'm actually going to give them a win here. I have no idea. What. I get it. It's the Dolphins. I get it, but I don't know. I pencil that down as a win.
It's the Dolphins. Just think, it's the Jets.
True.
You have to think of it from a Jets fan standpoint.
It's true, but for right now, I'm penciling that down as a win. Week 11 is their bye week. Week 12, November 29th versus Dolphins.
Wait, who do they play week 11?
Bye week.
They'll lose that one too.
Versus Dolphins, week 12.
Loss.
That I agree with you.
I don't care.
Week 13.
Wait, do you have them winning on the road but not at home?
Yes. I know I'm crazy.
All right.
Hey, you know what? You know what? I'm all about crazy takes.
Wait, how many wins do I have? Oh, I only have 1.
Yeah,
that's about accurate. No, that feels accurate to me.
Oh my God.
That feels accurate.
What do I have? Like 4 wins for them?
Yeah, you're much more optimistic.
Oh my God. So week 11, their bye week versus Dolphins. I have them losing as well. Week 13, December 6th versus Raiders.
I'm gonna go with a win on that one.
I agree. I agree with
that.
I
don't know what it is because look, obviously there's a lot of question marks around the Raiders unnecessarily about Derek Carr. I think it's really ridiculous that people want to say Derek Carr is a bad quarterback. He had his best statistical season, and he had the highest completion percentage of any quarterback in the NFL last year.
Yep.
So I don't know what the hell, Raiders fans and football fans are talking about. But, are the Raiders like fully 100% a playoff team this year? Probably not.
No.
They have another year before they get to that point. Now, obviously, I would like to be wrong about that, being a Raiders fan myself. But that's just the way I look at it. But the Jets seem to have the Raiders number over the last couple of years, and it's at home. So I'll go with the Jets on that one. I
agree with you.
Just for giggles.
2 wins for you, 5 wins for me.
Oh, look who they play week 14.
This is another automatic loss.
They play week 14.
December 13th at Seahawks. That is an automatic loss for me.
How much do you want to bet Jamal Adams makes a big play in that game?
Oh my God. That's almost a given at this point.
So that's a loss. Let's keep the Rams.
Automatic loss. Week 15, December 20th at Rams.
I'm gonna go with a win on that one.
Really?
I think the Rams suck.
Really?
They do. I mean, Jared Goff is massively overrated, and just like Sam Darnold, who does Jared Goff have to throw to? At all? Like, where is he throwing the football to?
Robert Woods, nobody.
Cooper Kupp.
I actually am going to go with a loss on that one. Week 16 versus Browns.
L.
What? No way.
It's going to be just like last year. They're just going to lose, and it doesn't matter who's at quarterback.
Oh, my God. I'm only kidding. I actually do agree with you there. And finally, week 17 at Patriots.
Loss.
That is an automatic loss. So final score, I have them at 5-11.
Wow, you are very generous. I have them 3-13, which is what I said. Did I not say?
You have them at 3-13. There you go. That's it.
Of course, they're going to go 3-13, bro. They are less talented than they were last year, and they still have Adam Gase. And Adam Gase has proven over and over again that he sucks. So what makes me believe that for some reason the Jets are going to somehow beat teams like the Dolphins, the Seahawks, the freaking Browns, the Cardinals, the Colts, which I don't know what you're talking about, the 49ers, and the Bills. The Bills are the best team on paper in that division. On paper.
Yeah.
On paper. So, don't shoot me because obviously I know the Patriots still are the Patriots in many regards. So
yes, and plus they still have Bill Belichick.
And you know what's funny?
I am not counting that out.
People forget, like, obviously,
otherwise.
Tom Brady's obviously gone. We know that. But what people don't realize is that the Patriots basically didn't lose anybody on defense.
Nope.
Now, obviously, they had a couple guys opt out of the season anyway, like Dante Hightower. He's actually not playing. But the Patriots still have a very good defense. So if the offense is not clicking, there's nothing saying the Patriots can't win a couple games with their defense playing lights out, with the McCourty twins, and Stephon Gilmore, arguably the best quarterback in the NFL.
Agreed.
So there's nothing saying that the Patriots can't, do well. What's funny is that people don't realize this. The Patriots throughout the last 20 years, their defense has always been very solid. It's never been bad.
Right.
So, but everybody's so focused on Tom Brady and, Tom Brady this, Tom Brady that we forget the Patriots have always had a very good defense. Even in the year they went, 16-0, albeit they did cheat week 1 against the Jets. I mean, who would want to?
Yes.
Why would you cheat against the Jets in any regard?
Right.
They had a really good defense.
Just like, why would you cheat against the Bengals? But that's another story.
Just so stupid. But anyway.
But
yeah,
anyway.
2013, that's fair.
No,
listen,
that would not surprise me in any stretch of the imagination. But I don't know. The optimism in me feels like they'll just win 2 more games. I don't know.
You clearly haven't watched the Jets.
Oh my God, stop.
But I will say this. I will give real quick my X factor or my breakout play. Yeah, I'm going to give a breakout player for each team. My breakout player this year is probably, and this was really a toss-up, but I'm going to go with Chris Herndon.
Oh, yes.
I think
100%
Herndon,
agree with you.
Like I said before, I think Herndon is going to be much more involved in the passing game this year because obviously it's going to be a wide receiver by committee. There is no number 1 guy. There is no massive weapon that you're going to throw the ball to 3 out of 4 times. Chris Herndon is going to be a guy that if he stays healthy, I think will be the best target for Sam Darnold this year.
Absolutely.
Also, if Griffin – is Griffin still on that team? God, I hope so. I know everybody's probably like, Griffin, what are you talking about? Like, who are you talking about? Just wait a minute, guys.
Stand by.
Don't shoot me, all right? I know what I'm talking about here.
Stand by.
There he is. Ryan Griffin.
Ryan Griffin, yes.
Ryan Griffin, tight end. Okay, he got hurt last year, but he really played well. He was a really good security blanket for Sam Darnold, especially when they were playing the Washington football team last year. And you know what's funny? Ryan Griffin's nearly played a decade in the league. I don't think people even know that.
Right.
This will be his 8th or 9th year in the league. And he's a very solid tight end. So I would say probably Herndon and Ryan Griffin would be the 2 guys I would keep my eye on the Jets in general. Also, obviously, on the defense, I said Ashton Davis.
Right. I couldn't agree with you.
Also, I think the Jets should sign Jadeveon Clowney, but I don't think anybody's going to sign Jadeveon Clowney.
That would be a tremendous addition for that
No,
team.
and I don't necessarily blame the Jets for that because, again, Jadeveon Clowney is a tremendous run stopper. He's really good at stopping the run. This man cannot rush the passer, and he's a defensive end. He's not a D lineman. Leonard Williams is a defensive lineman. He's in the middle. When Leonard Williams went to the Giants, he automatically became the best defensive lineman on the team because he could stop the run. And the Jets and the Giants defense actually was one of the best in the league when it came to stopping the run, but he can't rush the passer. So if the Jets were to get Jadeveon Clowney, they better hope to have somebody else that can rush the passer. That's why I said Jadeveon to the Raiders makes sense because Jadeveon could be the run stopper defensive lineman, and you have Max Crosby opposite to him who can rush the passer.
Right. But
those are my 2 those are my 3, I guess you would say 3 breakout players for the Jets this year.
I absolutely
so I'll probably have 3 with the Giants as well to keep it.
No, it's all right. But that's the bottom line with us for the Jets. I have them 5-11. Neil has them 3-13. Now let's go on to our beloved.
No,
I say that term lightly. New York Football.
Don't ever say that again.
Giants. Yeah, I apologize. But anyway, so
it's like you watch your mouth.
Obviously, you look at the Giants, and obviously there's a lot of questions, especially on the offensive line, which, granted, has played.
I think there's fewer questions. I think there are fewer questions, but again,
it has been a little better. It has.
We haven't seen this offensive line in action, so I have no idea. There was so much unknown with this team.
Yep.
There is so much
there's
unknown.
There's a lot of unknown, especially on the defensive end. Ugh, I mean, I don't expect their defense. I don't. It is okay, but it could be a lot better, especially in the secondary. But that's beside the point.
I mean, the reason why the Giants probably haven't gone after Jadeveon Clowney is that they already have a guy like that in Leonard Williams. Like it doesn't make sense to have two guys on your defensive line that are only run stoppers. I would rather have one guy, one big dude. So like that's why I'm okay with having Leonard Williams on this team, because if the Giants can stop the run, and they have guys that can rush the passer, I'm fine. We have a balance of both.
All right, yeah.
But if Jadeveon Clowney wants to come to the Giants on a one-year deal like Logan Ryan did,
I would not mind that at all.
I would be.
And by the way, welcome home, Logan Ryan. By the way, that was a
we'll get into that in a minute. Because the Giants over this week have made two moves to help upgrade. Not upgrade, but to help their depleted secondary.
Oh, absolutely. We'll get into that in a little bit, but obviously there are a lot of questions with this team. I mean, Daniel Jones, I still think is a good quarterback, but he still needs to control the football. He needs to hang on to it and stop having butterfingers, for crying out loud. But that's my only issue with him. I mean, DeAndre Baker, I think, is a pretty solid cornerback.
Nope.
I have no issues with him.
No. I do, because he's not on this football team.
Oh wait, no, yeah, I'm an idiot.
He has assault charges against him.
Yeah, no, that's
and
right.
He's probably going to get released at the end of this week.
Clearly, I've been living under a rock for that news, so I apologize about that. Saquon Barkley, no issues with him whatsoever. I mean, what more do you want from Saquon Barkley? I mean, he's obviously going to have a great season.
Saquon Barkley play defense? Because if that's the case, then I'm cool with it.
If only. I mean, don't forget, they drafted a tackle in Andrew Thomas, who I actually really like. Because hey.
Well, we had a weird reaction to that when we were watching the draft with
first we did, but then I said
because we all expected it to be like Tristan Wirfs or the guy from Alabama that is Tristan Wirfs. The other guy from Iowa. The guy from Iowa. But yeah, it was actually Andrew Thomas, which there is no way you can't tell me that he's not going to be the blindside guy.
I was literally going to say that because he's a big guy. He can block, and he will definitely help that offensive line out a lot.
And again, we did say that about Eric Flowers, and that didn't end up going well either. So
don't remind us all. But anyway, but hey, more protection for Daniel Jones, which means gives him more time to throw the football. And plus, Daniel Jones is actually a mobile quarterback, so he can do a lot more things with a good offensive line in front of him. Nate Solder, still overpaid. I still think he needs to go, but that's beside the point. Colt McCoy is now their backup quarterback, which I questioned at first, but you know what?
He's balling.
I don't mind it. I don't mind it. I mean, obviously he was with Washington at the time, but now that he's here, I think he can provide some help for Daniel. I think he's a solid quarterback.
I think he's fine as long as he doesn't play.
What's that?
I think he's fine as long as he doesn't have to play. That's all. I mean, honestly, I said this before. I was talking to somebody about this because we were talking about backup quarterbacks, and I was thinking about like all the backup quarterbacks that Eli's had in his career.
Right.
The best backup quarterback that Eli's ever had is probably David Carr, because I know David Carr was actually pretty good, like for what he was doing.
And David Carr actually got a Super Bowl with the Giants.
Yeah, because he's awesome.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I don't count Kurt Warner because Kurt Warner came in and was the starter right away.
Right, yes.
So, that doesn't count. Otherwise, I would say Kurt Warner.
But the biggest question for me with the Giants is, I believe, I would say Gettleman, but that'll be the obvious thing because I still don't trust that man. But how's their new coaching staff?
Joe Judge.
Because obviously you have Joe Judge as their head coach. You have Jason Garrett as your offensive coordinator, who I still like, by the way.
Well, we talked about it.
But he is an offensive coordinator.
Well, here's the thing. We talked about it. I think it was like one of the last podcasts we did together.
Actually in person.
We were talking about, reports that said, the Giants may hire Jason Garrett as offensive coordinator. Well, we were both in favor of it.
Yeah, exactly.
We both said, he is
an offensive coordinator.
And I think some Cowboy fan, after the Giants hired him, they said, get ready to go 8-8. And a lot of us were like, dude, we've been going 3-13 at 2-14.
We went 4-12 last year.
Couple of years. If we go 8-8, that's great.
That's
awesome.
I wouldn't mind that at all, to be honest.
But we win 8 games. When was the last time the Giants did that?
Also, by the way, you hired Freddie Kitchens, who was terrible in Cleveland, but he's a tight ends coach.
I forgot about that.
He's a tight ends coach. So, hey, maybe he can help Evan Engram.
I thought he was the running backs coach.
No, he's the tight ends coach.
Cool.
Hey,
no, that's cool.
Maybe he can actually help and develop Evan Engram. Maybe he can actually stay healthy this season. Hey, who the hell knows?
You have Patrick Graham as your defensive coordinator, who I will say, obviously he was coaching with the Dolphins. He did a pretty decent job considering how many injuries to the secondary the Dolphins had. The defense of the Dolphins played a lot better in the second half of the year, especially against the Patriots in Week 17. And, also Patrick Graham is another Bill Belichick former coach. He used to coach in New England. So, it's what concerns me about the whole coaching staff, or at least just from Joe Judge's standpoint, is that, he is a Bill Belichick guy. And we've already seen numerous times that it hasn't worked. The only time it did work was with a former Patriot player in Mike Vrabel, being the head coach in Tennessee. That's about the closest we've gotten to a Bill Belichick disciple being good.
Right.
If you want to make a different example, you could say maybe Tom Coughlin, because Coughlin was an assistant back in the 80s and 90s with the Giants while Bill Belichick was there as the defensive coordinator. Right. So you could say that if you want to say that, but I consider that to be more of a Parcells guy than a Bill Belichick guy. But, from all the things that I've heard about Joe Judge, especially with his practices, one of the interesting things is that anytime somebody makes a mistake, you have to do push-ups or you have to run a lap. I think it's like one of the two or both. I don't remember. But it's gotten to the point where I heard it was Evan Engram who said that now guys are being more accountable. They're being more responsible. So if they make a mistake that the coaches didn't notice, they're punishing themselves for it, which is great because you're seeing these guys buy into a system. They're buying into what Joe Judge is trying to preach. And also, Joe Judge wants this team to go back to basics. It seems like he wants them to work on the smallest of details. He's not worried about implementing this, formation or offense. He's worried about the guys making sure they do the simple football things correctly. Holding on to the football, making sure your block is consistent, doing things like that. I think that's important for a young team that's trying to rebuild. Do I think it's going to result in wins right away? I don't think right away, but the more positivity I'm hearing from Giants players and people reporting on the Giants, in the long term, I think you're going to see good results. And I'm interested and a little bit optimistic with Jason Garrett's offense. I'm hearing that Daniel Jones seems to be really, really thriving in the offense. We have to remember they are practicing against the defense. So let's take that with a grain of salt.
And by the way, I should mention, Daniel Jones' favorite target is Darius Slayton. And you still have
him. That's not a shock. Darius Slayton is your best receiver.
Factor this season for the Giants.
And the Giants have solid options on the outside. You have Darius Slayton. You have Golden Tate. You have Sterling Shepard. You have Evan Engram. Oh, and also you have David Sills, who, if anybody remembers who David Sills is the guy who at 13 years old got a scholarship offer from USC as a quarterback.
Yep.
Everybody know that. They have Corey Coleman back after he tore his ACL last year, and Corey Coleman was one of the best special teams guys, really good at returning kickoffs. Yep. And I hope he actually gets the opportunity to do so again this year. And also, they have another guy that I think nobody's talking about that's wearing Victor Cruz's number right now, and that's Alec Bachman. Alec Bachman, I have heard a lot of good things about in camp. He has done very well. He doesn't drop passes. If the Giants could have more than one receiver that can catch everything with two hands instead of one, I'm looking at Odell.
Yeah, thank you.
That would be great. Like, that would honestly be great. I would love to just have guys that could just catch the ball with two hands consistently. That's why I don't think guys like Odell is the best receiver in the NFL. I look at guys like Michael Thomas, DeAndre Hopkins, Julio Jones, because they catch with two hands and they don't drop the ball.
Larry Fitzgerald.
Larry Fitzgerald's the best of all of them when it comes to catching consistently. I bet if you go to that statistic and look at drop balls, I bet Larry Fitzgerald's like one of the top 3.
And that's another guy that's going to waltz in the Hall of Fame.
Oh, yeah. Well, he's going to have I think he's actually going to have a really good season with the Cardinals because they're going to try so hard to cover DeAndre Hopkins.
Oh.
That Fitzgerald's going to get 1v1. Dude, nobody, even at his age, he's still.
It's over. It's over.
But what the Giants have this year more than any other year is that they have wide receiver by committee. And I'm going to use the year after Megatron Calvin Johnson retired from the NFL. Matt Stafford had to then look to 4 or 5 different guys to throw the football to. It wasn't just looking at, where's Calvin Johnson? Where am I going to, I could just throw the ball up there. No, all these different guys are going to have to come together and work cohesively as a group to make the offense better, to make the passing game really good. So I think in that regard, I think Daniel Jones is primed to have a better season statistically. The fumbling issue is a big concern. He had, 18 fumbles this past year? If he cut that down to about 10 or 9, or even in the, obviously in the single digits, that's a really good plus. Also, I will just state the fact that in Russell Wilson's rookie year, he had something like 15, 16 fumbles. Like he didn't do that well, but he is considered to be one of the best quarterbacks in the National Football League at this point in his career because he's learned. It's something that you can learn and you can make better. Is it something that you can completely get rid of? No, it's very hard. Because guess what? You have linemen that are over, who are 275, quick, and have great hands that can knock the football out like you can't believe. If Daniel Jones is back there in the pocket and he puts the ball up here and it gets knocked out, I'm not going to fault Daniel Jones that much. Right. Because if he doesn't see it coming, it's like, what are you supposed to do?
Exactly.
I think 2 or 3 of his fumbles might have been from that reason. Yep. So, but if he can, strengthen his hands, and from what I'm hearing, Daniel Jones has strengthened his entire core. He's gained a bunch of weight in a positive way to where he's gotten stronger. That's good. So that's good. The defense, I don't know. I really honestly don't know what's going to happen. This Giants team is more unpredictable than any Giants team I've seen in the last decade. I don't know where this team is going to be. Because with a new coaching staff and a bunch of new players, because let's face it, there's going to be some new guys on this team. You have Blake Martinez now as probably your captain on defense, who is a much better option than Alec Ogletree, in my opinion.
I agree with you.
What I've been hearing that's so interesting is that Blake Martinez is constantly asking to go 1v1 versus Saquon Barkley, who is without a doubt your best player on the team. There's no question about that. And there have been times where Blake Martinez has won the battle, and there's times where Saquon's won the battle. They're pushing each other to get better. And I think that's great. I really do. And I'm excited that guys are pushing each other on this team. They want to get better. They have an attitude that even though they may not win a bunch of games, they want to be competitive. If the Giants go 3-13, 4-12, 5-11, but in 14 or 15 of the 16 games they play in, they're losing it by a touchdown or a few points and they're competitive, at least by that point you could say, okay, they're making progress. They're a competitive football team. They're making themselves tough to play against. Like, that's what I want to see. So that would be interesting. I think, the only side of the football I would be concerned about if they didn't do well would be special teams. Because, let's face it, Joe Judge is a special teams coach. And what makes Joe Judge interesting is because he's going to be not an offensive coach, not a guy that's going to, be involved in everything. He's going to trust his assistants more than I've ever seen any other coach the Giants have ever had. And I think he's just going to be a manager. He's just going to manage every player. He's just going to say, look, I trust my guys. I trust my coaches. I'm just going to, look over everything. And if I have to step in and make a suggestion or say something on one side of the football or another, I'm going to come in. But for the most part, I'm just going to be allowing my coaches, my assistants, to do what they were brought in here to do. And I'm hearing a lot of good things. What I like that David Gettleman has done over the past couple of days is that he obviously knows that, out, McKinney is out for 10 weeks at
Yeah.
the minimum. He might be out for the whole year, which is very unfortunate. DeAndre Baker is not going to be on this team, and he might not play football ever again. So the Giants needed help, and the first move that they made, which was one of the best moves I've seen the Giants make in a while, was signing Logan Ryan to a one-year deal worth $7.5 million. He reunites with Joe Judge, who was coaching in New England, and Logan Ryan is a former Patriots player. And Logan Ryan was probably the second best free agent on the market other than Jadeveon Clowney. Best safety, no doubt about it. But Logan Ryan comes in, and he can be used all over the field as a safety, as a strong safety, free safety, cornerback. He can be used in many different ways. So he's going to be your number one guy in the secondary, without a doubt. And I'm happy about it because I think Logan Ryan, he was one of the best safeties in the game last year. If, he had more tackles, more forced fumbles, more, the second most interceptions of any strong safety behind, I think, Tyrann Mathieu. This was a really good deal that's going to help this defense get better, which is great. And then just last night, the Giants made a trade with the Denver Broncos where they traded a 7th-round pick to the Denver Broncos in exchange for Isaac Yet. I'm really, I try to make sure I say these names right, but I'm not saying this one right.
Let's call him Isaac.
Isaac Yiadom to the Giants in exchange for a 2021 7th-round pick. I think also the Giants they just got Isaac. And Isaac was going to be the third option for the Broncos in their safety, in their defensive backfield. But coming here, he obviously is going to get a lot of reps. This is going to be interesting. Both Logan Ryan and Isaac are not going to have that much time to get acquainted with the defense that they're playing in. So maybe they might struggle early on comparatively to other guys who have been there from the beginning. Right. But I'm glad that Gettleman saw that and wanted to improve it and made a really good signing. I mean, Logan Ryan was looking for a long-term deal. He understood he wasn't going to get it in this market with COVID-19. He gets a prove-it deal. So that's why I was saying before, if Jadeveon Clowney wanted to come to the Giants on a one-year deal for about the same amount of money, I would not be against it. I would be fine with it.
Either.
And I don't know if Jadeveon really wants to play at this point. At this point, considering that we're less than a week away from the first game, or the Giants are more than a week away from their first game, I would probably just sit out.
Yeah.
And that's no knock on him. Look, first of all, you're protecting yourself health-wise from getting, COVID-19, and you're keeping your body healthy so that when you come back the next year, a lot more teams will be interested because they'll say, he has a year off from football. He's probably in better shape, and has recovered from some injuries and some banging that he's gotten. Let's give him a shot. And I think that would be smart. But also, he might get an offer midway through the season, depending on what happens with injuries. Sometimes this happens. So we'll see. But I really like what the Giants did. I like what David Gettleman did. I actually trust him a little bit more than I did before because it seems like he's making moves. And I think now we're starting to really see the type of team that David Gettleman wanted to build. And now that we're finally in a rebuild, we're finally there, it's more relaxing to me watching this football team because I could say, all right, look, we're young. We're probably not going to win a lot of games. We're probably going to make a lot of mistakes, but at least we're trying. At least we have a direction now.
Yep.
And we're not trying to win, but also rebuilding.
Yep. Yep. Absolutely. I could not agree with you more. Now, to quickly wrap things up here, let us go to the Giants' schedule and do the win-loss game. So,
let's do it.
Our final predictions for how the Giants will do this season. Week 1, home opener, September 14th. Versus Steelers. This is a tough one. This is a tough one because, I still think the Steelers are a solid team. I'm obviously they're getting Big Ben back, so we'll see how he does in his first game back.
All right.
James Conner is a tremendous running back. I think he's going to be a stud for years.
And they still have a receiver.
James Washington is a stud at wide receiver. So Steelers offense, no questions there. Defense is pretty solid. I don't know, man. I hate to say it, but I have the Giants losing that one. I'm sorry. I just think the Steelers are a much better team than the Giants are.
Well, you did also forget Juju Smith-Schuster is still a Steeler.
Yeah, Juju. Yeah, yes. I did forget about him.
Covering him is a good question. There's a part of me that would want us that does believe that maybe the Giants could pull off an upset. Because let's face it, most of their games this year, any of the games they win, are probably going to be upsets.
Right.
Because look, if you look at the power rankings and you look at the team itself, it's fair to say the Giants are going to be one of the bottom feeders of the NFL. And that's just trying to be as honest as I can be and being realistic. I think it'll be a close game because, again, this is the first time both teams will be playing against someone other than themselves. So Is it going to look good? No. It's not going to look good on either side of the football for either team. Big Ben hasn't played in about a year. He's recovered, so I don't know how good or bad he's going to be. And I'm not a Steelers fan. I haven't kept up with what the Steelers are doing. I have no idea. Okay? I don't really know. But I do have the Steelers winning that game. I'm going to actually give you a score for some reason. I'm thinking 23-17.
Yeah, I had it around.
It's not going to be like a tremendous game. Oh, also, I think the Giants have the first game with the new Monday Night Football crew.
Yes.
Yeah, I think they do with Steve
Levy and Louis Riddick.
And also Greasy, right? Greasy's also doing it with them.
I think so, yeah.
So that'll be interesting. I feel like it's not necessarily personality-wise. That's more of a knowledge or football knowledge, crew.
Right.
I'm interested to see how that goes. I know Steve Levy did hockey for a long time for ESPN when they were really covering it. And he also
did the XFL for a couple
and he did pretty well. So you know what? Let's give him a chance.
Yeah.
And he's Silver Fox, Steve Levy, by the way, which is not dark hair. I saw his hair recently, and I was like, he really is a Silver Fox now. It's not even white; it's silver. You can clearly tell. He uses touch of gray. You can clearly tell. But yeah, I'm gonna go with I'm gonna go with a loss on that one.
Yep. So we both have them losing there. Week 2, September 20th at Bears.
I'm gonna go with a win. Honestly.
I actually agree because
at least the Giants.
I still don't trust their quarterback unless
at least the Giants have a starting quarterback that they like. Who's the Bears starting quarterback? Have they even told us yet?
I
think it is Nick Foles.
Odds are it's going to be Trubisky. But if I were them, I would go Nick Foles.
I'm pretty sure it's the other way around, that the odds are for Nick Foles. But look, the defense of the Bears is still going to be very good. Let's face it.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Okay? They're still going to be very good. But their offense is no. No. The Giants almost beat the Bears last year.
Yeah, they did.
So there is a good chance the Giants could win that game. So I'm actually going to go with the Giants in that one.
I 100% agree.
Why not? So. And would it be an upset? No, because neither one of these teams is going to be that good.
Right. But so we both have them 1-1 so far. Week 3, September 27th versus 49ers.
So the Niners are the Niners are probably going to end up staying in New York after their Week 2 matchup against the Jets.
Yes.
Wow, they're taking a long road trip.
Yes.
I mean, no, this is a loss.
Yeah, I agree. That's.
Do I think the Niners' offense is great? I mean, it's pretty good. They went to the Super Bowl last year.
It's not the best I've seen, but it's
look,
pretty damn good.
The Niners are a better team. So
yes, clearly.
And I'm trying to be fair here, guys. I'm trying to forget about my fandom of being a Giants fan and just being realistic and saying.
Yep. So am I.
Keep going.
So we both have them 1-2, losing to the 49ers, losing to the Steelers, and winning against the Bears. Week 4, October 4th at Rams. I actually have them winning that. I actually have them winning that one. I have them winning that one.
That's going to be a great test for Andrew Thomas.
It is.
He's going up against Aaron Donald, arguably one of the top
probably
3.
the best defensive player in the game right now.
Oh, without a doubt. That's going to be an interesting matchup. I'm going to go with a loss on that one just because it's in L.A. And, I mean, I don't know if there's going to be fans there. I don't think. Every team is different the way that they've been
I don't know.
playing this. But I'm going to go with a loss in that one.
All right, so I have them winning that one. Week 5, October 11th at Jerry World against the Cowboys.
Which, by the way, guys, isn't it great that the first 4 weeks we don't have to worry about playing the Cowboys?
Right.
That's awesome. I don't know about you guys, but I'm happy about it.
Oh, my goodness. But Oh man, this is tough.
Ooh. This isn't that tough for me.
Unfortunately, I'm gonna have to go with a loss.
Yeah, I agree.
I'm gonna have to go with a loss. I mean,
I agree. It's just
the Cowboys all around, and I hate saying it, all around they're a much better team. I mean, defensively they're solid, and offensively, I mean, I don't even have to question the Cowboys' offense. I mean, they're gonna be lethal this season.
I think that's going to be a high-scoring game because I'm going to be honest with you. I think Jason Garrett is going to try to burn. First of all, the majority of the defense that the Cowboys have is defense that was created by that was there when Jason Garrett was there. So if anybody has an advantage, so to speak, it might be Jason Garrett by only a little bit. But if it becomes a high-scoring game, I don't really like the Giants winning that. Because, again, defense, I don't know what this team is going to look like. It's very hard to predict what the Giants, comparatively to the Jets, because we know the Jets have Adam Gase and they have the same staff and their team is less talented.
Right.
The Giants, we could just make logical guesses to just, say, yeah, I mean, most likely they're probably not going to win that game. As much as us as fans would love to see the Giants beat the Cowboys that week, I have a tough time with that.
Yeah, I do too. So I have them 2-3.
They haven't won in Dallas in a while, I don't think.
I know.
3 or 4 years they haven't beat him. So
yeah, so it's gonna be tough. But so far I have them 2-3. Neil, you have them at
1-4.
1-4. Oh, jeez. All right.
I think that's fair. I think that's fair looking at who they're playing.
True. All right, so week 6, October 18th versus Washington.
No, say it right. Say it
Washington
right.
Football Team.
Thank you. I just wanted to hear you say that. All right.
Whatever.
For me, I'm going to say win.
I agree. I'm with you.
I mean, are the Redskins that much better?
No.
Look. Obviously, they have what is his name? The guy from Ohio State. His name is escaping me. They just drafted him. No. The guy the defensive player. Chase Young. That was Chase Young.
Chase Young, yeah.
I'm excited about that because if it's Andrew Thomas lining up on the other side, I'm really I want to see that. I want to see that. I think Chase Young could very well be a great defensive player. And that's going to be interesting. Other than Chase Young, maybe what is his name? The other guy, the guy on the other side. Kelman?
I think so.
Yeah. Obviously, they have 2 defensive ends that are going to be very good. Other than that, the defense of the Skins remains – not the Skins. Jesus. The Washington football team is about the same. And Daniel Jones had arguably his best game statistically against the Washington football team.
Hey, look, I get it. I get it. We are never going to get used to saying that. I get
against
it.
Against Washington.
It's totally fine.
Against Washington, that in week 16.
When he threw 5 touchdowns.
Right. So
the game winner in overtime.
I think the Giants are better. I don't know why people think the Giants are worse than the Washington football team. Now, if Alex Smith is playing, I'm not as confident in the Giants winning.
I'll tell you what though. If Alex Smith plays, that is going to be the greatest comeback story I've ever seen.
Forget it, Gabe. If he plays 1 down and doesn't get hurt, it's a miracle. Now, when I say play, I mean he actually has to throw the football.
Yeah.
Because running play, that's lame. Unless you want to be Vinny Testaverde and blow out your knee on a running play.
Oh my God. But
yes, poking more fun at the Jets.
So we both have them beating Washington at home week 6. Week 7, October 22nd.
I just changed my background, by the way. I literally went this long without realizing it.
It's fine. Week 7, October 22nd at Eagles.
Look, here's the thing. I don't really know because this team is about Carson Wentz.
Yeah.
And Carson Wentz. And remember, when Eli finally got back in the game, when he started that Monday night game against the Eagles last year, the Giants could have won that game.
Yes.
Carson Wentz wasn't playing that well. Now, he did come through in the end, and won the game in overtime. Yeah, in overtime.
Overtime.
This is at Philly. Yeah.
At Philly.
Loss. This is a
Yeah,
hard. You know,
I'm with you.
So at this point, I am what?
It does depend if Wentz is healthy and playing, but at
and
this
playing
point,
well. No, forget about if he's playing. If he's playing well, if he's struggling, and his offensive line is somehow allowing the Giants to do well.
Yeah.
Oh, we completely forgot Marcus Golden is back with the team.
Oh,
so,
God. Yeah, that's true, but we both have them losing at Eagles.
Oh,
I cannot wait for this matchup. Week 8.
Oh, God.
November 2nd at home versus Tampa Bay.
That was so lame what you just said. Mine's better. Mine's better than that. The Brady Bucks.
I'm sorry. Yeah, the Brady Bucks.
The Brady Bucks, not Tampa Bay. That's so lame.
But seriously, though, this match is going to be. I'm actually really, really excited. I don't think it's going to be that high scoring by any stretch. Maybe like 20-17, 23-17, somewhere along those lines. But you obviously look at Tampa, man. I mean, Tom Brady, Gronk is back out of retirement.
Leonard Fournette just signed.
Leonard Fournette just signed there. I mean, my
Gronkowski.
God. What's that?
Gronkowski. You have Evans. You have Goodwin.
Mike Evans. Goddard. I mean, oh my.
Goddard.
Not Godwin. Godwin. I'm sorry, Godwin.
Yeah.
But I mean.
Oh, and then you have Barrett on the other side of the football, who's arguably last year the best defensive player in the National Football League, and should be paid.
Yep.
I hope the Bucs pay him. If not, I hope the Giants go and get him and pay him.
Yep.
But I could Shaq Barrett in a heartbeat.
But I think this is obvious for me. Loss.
Yeah, you know what's interesting about it?
I'm sorry, you're not beating that Tampa Bay offense.
Unless they're old and unless Tom Brady's old and can't play. I mean, look, if the Giants could get to Tom Brady, and it feels like I'm talking about the Super Bowl again. If the Giants could get to Tom Brady, they have a shot.
Right, yes.
Because even though Shaq Barrett is obviously the main guy on that defense, and I think Ndamukong Suh is still on the Bucs.
I think he is.
You know, I think the Giants could put up some points against that Bucs defense. It's not intimidating as hell. But yeah, I'd probably say more likely it'd be a loss.
Yeah. Yep. So
I have 2 wins. Do I have 2 wins? I think I have 2 wins so far. Yeah, I have 2 wins. And then they play Washington week 9, and I'm going to go with another win on that one.
I happen to agree.
I think they'll beat them both times.
I happen to agree with you. So that's at Washington week 9. We both have them winning week 10 at home versus Philly. I'm actually going to give them a win. It's at MetLife Stadium, so I think there'll be a little bit of momentum shift. No fans. So I'm going to give the Giants a win here week 10.
It's tough. Also, this is the first time in a long time that the Giants have a later bye week. Usually they actually have it at the halfway point.
It's the same bye week as the Jets, week 11.
Oh, I guess they just don't want New York football.
I guess not. But
yeah, I'm gonna. You know what? Why not? Let's go. Let's give them a dub on that one. It's at home. Why not?
Right. So we both
2 in a row.
Winning.
2 in a row. There you go.
Week 11 bye week, they're going to win that. Week 12.
It can go either way.
Week 12 at the Bengals. That should be a win.
I think that is a win.
I'm going to say that is a win.
I mean, yeah, you got Joe Burrow, clearly. But he's a rookie, and the Giants could take advantage of that. And who's good on the defensive side for the Bengals? Like, at all. Like, who? I don't even know anybody on the Bengals defense. So, you know what? Let's give him a dub. Let's give him 3 in a row. Why not? I like this.
All right, so where do we stand right now? Neil, you have them at –
I'm at 5, and how many games have they played at this point?
We're in week 12 right now. We both have them.
Yeah, no. How many games have they played? What, 11?
I think so.
So I have them at this point 5 and 6.
Okay.
I think. Wait, hold on.
Well, forgive me. My math skills aren't proper. I haven't been keeping track, but
1 and 4, 2 and 4, 2 and 5, 2 and 6, 3, 6, 4, 6, 5. Yeah, I have 5 and 6. At this point, I have 5 and 6.
All right, well, you're probably going to have to help me out on this one here because I lost track. So we'll
Just think about the amount of wins you put, and then we
Right.
can tally it up at the end. 5-6 for me at this point. So then they play Seahawks, right?
Yes, Week 13
Loss.
at Seattle. That is an
Loss.
automatic loss. There's no way you're going.
It's not an automatic loss, but yeah, I would say it's most likely a loss. Yeah.
Yeah, Week 14 versus Cardinals.
This is really annoying to me because obviously you think about the offense of the Cardinals is gotten a lot better. You know, you have DeAndre Hopkins, who I think most likely if Logan Ryan is healthy that game, I think most likely you're going to put Logan Ryan on DeAndre Hopkins the whole game. I don't know who you're going to have playing against Larry Fitzgerald, you know, obviously, and you have a mobile quarterback in Kyler Murray. The defense of the Cardinals is, I don't know, okay.
Yeah.
And the Giants did lose this game last year.
Yeah.
And they lost it because of a running back from Yale who scored 3 times. So I'm going to go with, you know what, screw it. Let's go with a win. I don't care.
I agree. I agree with you. So I caught up. I actually have them at 8-5 so far this season. So bit of a shocker there. So Week 15.
Oh, geez.
Week
Yeah,
15.
they're playing.
Freddie Kitchens' old team, the Browns.
Odell's old team, too. Why not?
MetLife Stadium.
You know, it sucks that there's no fans because this would have been the great game for Giants fans to try to get their revenge on Odell.
Yeah, right?
For me, I'm going to go with a loss.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I do.
Interesting.
So after somehow winning 4 out of their last 5, I'm going with a loss.
Well, I'm going with a win. The Browns are terrible. I don't
Damn.
trust them. I'm going with a win.
You are just as optimistic about the Giants as Good Morning Football Crew is.
Oh my god.
Kyle Brandt said they're going to make the playoffs, and I'm like, dude, relax. Stop.
Week
I
16.
know you work in New York, but calm down.
Week 16 at Ravens. That is a loss for me.
Yeah,
the Ravens are so much better than the Giants.
You know, the thing is that where are the Ravens going to be by Week 16? Are they already in the playoffs and they're not playing anybody? Because then the Giants could obviously have more of an advantage. Now, if I think RG3 is the backup. I mean, he can still play. RG3 could still play.
Oh, he can. He can
still go to football. So I'm not like, but I'll go with a loss on that one.
Yeah, we agree there. And finally, Week 17 at home versus Cowboys.
You know what? Let's go with a dub on it. What did I say in the first Cowboys game? They're going to lose?
I think we both had them losing. Yeah,
I'm going to say they're going to win. So that gives me 7-9. Yeah, right. 7-9. Yep.
I think so. Yeah.
Win.
Well,
win.
I really don't know, man. I mean, do I have them losing 2 in a row to the Cowboys? Oh my goodness. So what do I have them at? What do I have them at? 9-6 so far?
I don't know. I'm paying attention to myself.
Yeah, so 9-6. You know what? Why not? I'm gonna give it a W. I have them at 10-6. I know that sounds nuts.
Wow.
The fact that what they have, but hey.
What did you do? You remember what you said last year? Because I don't even know.
I said 4-12 last year.
And I think that was exactly it, right? They went 4-12.
That was exactly it. 4-12. Yep. So
I went 7-9. I don't know.
You know what? 7-9 wouldn't surprise me. 8-8 would be great. But hey, maybe I'm just a little bit too much of an optimist. I don't know.
Anything above 4.
I have them at
anything
10-6.
above 4 would be solid.
Yes, absolutely.
So I'll go 7-9 because look, you always have to take other things into consideration, like injury. Depending on where the teams are at the time that they're playing. Did the Giants add anybody? Did the opponent team, is the offense or defense clicking? There's all these different things. So, but like when you do it now, and it's easier for us to do the prediction now because I remember we were discussing the Giants and Jets like 2 months ago, and I told you that I really couldn't give you any predictions just because I didn't know who was on each team.
Right.
Easier now with it being less than a week, about a week for both teams before they start. It's easier. So, I mean, yeah, 7-9, maybe I'm being a little too optimistic, but you know,
I'm a little more optimistic than you. I got him at 10-6. So what do you want from me?
Man, I'll take 10-6 every day and twice on Sunday. So
there you go. And on that note, that'll wrap
this is going to look so bad because I think people are going to be like, "You guys are such homers."
Oh my God! Stop.
Which is fair.
Note,
I wouldn't criticize people for saying that to me.
It's fine. But on that note, that'll wrap it up for this episode of the Bottom Line Podcast. If you have any thoughts on anything we discussed, and if you want to leave your own thoughts on how the Giants and Jets will do, let us know on Twitter at BottomLineWMCX, at the MVP Show, and on Instagram at BottomLineWMCX, hashtag BottomLine. Voice message, Anchor, the app, or at Anchor.fm. And please make sure you subscribe if you're watching on YouTube and leave a like and a comment down below with your thoughts. And please subscribe on Apple, Google, and Spotify, or wherever you listen to podcasts. Just include my first name, Jimmy, when searching for this podcast.
Oh, you didn't say.
Neil, coming up next week, a full NFL season preview. We will go over division winners, X factors, the whole deal. We will have it all here for you. We cannot wait for NFL to kick off, literally and figuratively. For Neil Villapiano, I'm Jimmy Finizzi. This is the Bottom Line Podcast. See you in the next episode.